All right. If you were excited about video 1 being so long, I apologize. Video 2 is not going to be quite as long, so you don't have that much fun to talk about here. So we're going to talk about the power rule, all right? And this section's full of tricks. We got a third trick in the same section, okay? Example 5. Expand the natural log of x times x times x. So we say, okay, we can use the product rule twice. All right, product rule says multiplication on the inside is addition on the outside. Natural log of x plus the natural log of another x plus the natural log of another x. And we're going to get, well, we have 1, 2, 3 of them, and we're adding them all together. So now we have 3 natural log of x. All right, so notice over here, this is the natural log of x cubed. And that's the power rule right here. If you have the natural log of an exponential, the exponent comes down in front. All right, so that's rule number 4, the power rule. All right, so if I have the natural log, I don't need to even include this on my notes. If I have the natural log of x to some power, that power comes down in front. And this can be a fractional power. Watch out for that. It can be a fractional power, it can be a negative power, it can be any power. Okay, so if I was looking at the natural log of the square root of e, for example, there's a couple of ways of looking at this. Remember, a square root is an exponent of 1/2. So we could use the inverse property and say, oh, these cancel, we just get 1/2. We could also use the power rule. Say, okay, that 1/2 comes out in front. You get 1/2 times the natural log of e. And the natural log of e is just 1. They cancel each other out. You could also type this in your calculator. A bunch of different ways to see that this simplifies to 1/2. One of them is by seeing it with the power rule. Let's do some more with the power rule. Example 6. Expand log base 3 of 1 over y to the n. Now there's a lot of ways we could do this. We've got a quotient. You could say, let's use the quotient rule. We've got an exponent. You could say, let's use the exponent, the power rule, whatever you want to call it. Or you could say, let's do both. So we're going to do both. All right, compare and contrast time. This is like English class. Please no, I never want to teach an English class. I like English, but caught red-handed. We're going to just move on. Okay, so if we use the power rule, we could write this as an exponent. All right. 1 divided by y to the n is the same as y to the negative n. Remember, a negative exponent means reciprocal. The negative exponent of here means it's 1 over that, if it had a positive one. And now the power rule says, okay, that exponent, that negative n, goes on a little journey. Negative n goes wee out in front. We get negative n times the log base 3 of y. But maybe you don't want negative exponents. Maybe you hate negative exponents. Maybe you just don't remember what the heck negative exponents do. You could use the quotient rule here. You could also say this is log base 3 of the numerator minus log base 3 of the denominator, which is y to the n. Well, log of any number, log of 1 with any base is always 0. 3 to the 0th power is equal to 1. 4 to the 0th power would be equal to 1. 5 to the 0th power would equal 1. All right, this logarithm is always equal to 0. All right, so we get 0 minus the second logarithm. Well, 0 minus anything, we don't even have to write it. It's going to be minus this logarithm. Again, use the power rule. N says, ooh, let's come out in front. We get 0 minus n log base 3 of y. And we solved this problem in 2 different ways. Hopefully we got the same answer. All right. That's one way to use the power rule. And we can go the other way. Example 7. Combine, then simplify. 1/3 times the natural log of 8. Well, if we can take the exponent and bring it out in front, we can go the other way too. Let's take this out in front and make it an exponent. This is going to become the natural log of 8 to the 1/3. And then you say, yes, I am a fantastic math student. I never forget anything. That's not what being a fantastic math student means, by the way. But anyway, a fractional exponent means a radical. So specifically, right, this means the cubed root of 8. If it were 1/2, that'd be the square root. If it were 1/4, it would be the fourth root. And then cubed root of 8 is just 2. So this all just becomes the natural log of 2 right here, which is a little nicer to write. All right, lots of different ways to do this sort of stuff. Okay, let's make that a part A because I want to make a comment here with part B. Also, right, if I have negative natural log of 1/2, we can simplify this too. This is like a -1. Okay, let's write it that way as a -1 times the natural log of 1/2, multiplication of a number on the outside of a logarithm. We can move that guy into our exponent and get the natural log of 1/2 to the -1. And remember that negative exponents means reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 1/2? Well, if you flip 1/2 upside down, you get 2/1, which is just 2. So this is something else that simplifies to the natural log of 2. All right. And that's the power rule. 7 minutes. Not as short as I thought it was going to be. I got a little verbose. All right, should be able to do the simple power rule problems. We combine everything in video 4 though. All right, but the simpler ones you should be able to do now. Very short homework problems for this video. Enjoy.